Hi, this is Arthur Carmazzi, best-selling author and currently ranked as one of the world's top 10 thought leaders in organizational culture and leadership. And welcome to the Nights of Transformation. Today is the final of the 8-part series on gamifying organizational culture. And today is very important because today we are going to be talking about measurement and feedback. Okay, if you remember all of the stuff we talked about earlier, you start with your objectives, okay, and whatever those objectives are, whether it's more cooperation, whether it's better leadership, more teamwork, more engagement, whatever it is, okay, that's where you start with. Now, what are the behaviors that you need in order to actually achieve that objective? And of course, from there, what emotions drive those behaviors and how do you elicit those emotions, okay? Using, of course, the DC emotional drive model. And from there, of course, now we have to theme everything. Why? Because themes make everything fun. So that means it kind of brings us out of the reality and lets us kind of go into this level of fantasy to make the whole gamification of work more interesting and more fun. Once we do that, then we mechanize it. We create the mechanics, the structure behind it, and then, of course, the resources and the rewards relating to that mechanical or to that structure go into place. Then we, of course, find the partners who else would improve their abilities, who else would support us if they were involved in our whole gamification thing. And, of course, now, today, finally, Feedback and measurement. Okay, so all of this stuff is going to be very important because how we measure our progress essentially determines and supports all of these different emotions that we're trying to elicit through the structure of the game. So, all of this stuff, what does it mean? Okay, first of all, the key to success is measurement and feedback, making sure that people are constantly getting and seeing this feedback as soon as possible. Quality feedback is fast feedback. All right, so if you can see how you're doing exactly on a regular basis, you can speed up because you think, oh my gosh, I'm not really, achieving at the rate that I should. Or maybe, how am I doing? Okay. Knowing these different things, where am I in the relationship to achieving this KPI? How are other people doing it? How do I compare from last year? So you've got all of these different types of measurements that support your motivation towards achieving your objectives and, or for that matter, achieving the behaviors that will achieve those objectives. Okay, so let's look at some different kinds of measurement. Okay, so you've got internal measurement. Internal measurement is, essentially where you are measuring against yourself. Okay, so for example, the Heroes Index. Now, the Heroes Index can be like everybody who has achieved X gets into the Heroes Index. So you're not really competing against other people because anybody can be in it as long as you have that level of achievement. You can also compare. Now, you're not necessarily comparing against other people. Remember, you can be comparing against yourself. How well did I do last time? Last month, what did I do? And, how can I improve on it this time? Or what is the benchmark of the industry? Hey, how much can I exceed the current benchmark for the organization, the industry, whatever? Okay? And, of course, we have Squadly, which is a performance measurement system. So this basically allows you to see how you are doing consistently in relationship to, your objectives. How much contribution are you actually giving to the different objectives? You also have milestones. Milestones, like here is, so we've got a project that it has multiple elements. First, you have to do the proposal, then you have to, do the finance, and all these different projections. And so, you've got these different milestones connected to a specific larger, bigger project. And then, of course, finding out your progression. Oh, hey, I am at 87% of achieving X, or I am at 87% of, getting to this level where I can now, become this superhero within the game structure. Or, of course, there's time. How much time am I taking compared to how much time it took me last time to achieve the same thing? And when we're talking about metrics, it's, how high can you climb? And there's not always a finish line, but sometimes there is a finish line, and it's like, can I get to the finish line? Not necessarily am I getting to the finish line first, but can I get to the finish line? Can I actually complete everything that is required in order for me to essentially get to that end result? And all of these things will fit into a structure and some kind of rewards and everything else that you've already made, because we've talked about that in the previous videos. Now, the other kind of measurement is external measurement. Now, this is where you actually do compare yourself to other people. You do compare yourself, okay, so how do I compare to my colleagues? How do I compare to the competitors, okay? And also against Squadly. My rank is number 4 out of 10. Okay, so what is the comparison? You've got leaderboards. Leaderboards will basically show you who is ahead. It's like, these guys are going up here, these guys are going up here. How far, how quickly are you doing it? So the time factor also goes in. Finish line, who gets to the finish line first, and of course, how high can you go? Not just can you go by yourself, but how high can you go compared to, the other people? Are they, racing? Is it a race? Is it something that other people are getting higher than you? Okay, so there's all different kinds of ways that you can compete against each other. So measurement also creates these elements of, oh my gosh, I need to, do this so that I can basically achieve this. Okay, now just remember, we talked about Facebook, all right? So when you are on Facebook, you are looking at, how many likes did I get? How many shares did I get? How many people commented? All of these things affect your motivation. If nobody ever likes your stuff on Facebook, you're not really going to be so motivated to keep posting stuff on there, because it's like, there's, nobody cares. And why should I just keep beating myself up, right? So the gamification elements and the comparisons, the measurement of how you're doing either against yourself or against others, okay, are always going to support you knowing how you're doing so that you can achieve these different behaviors. And of course, it's not just competing against yourself or competing against other people, but your team can also compete against itself and also against other teams. Okay, so you got the same different elements within a team framework where the people within the team work together in order to achieve these different levels or these different heights, or getting to the finish line, or comparing themselves against other teams or against how they've done in the past. So team or group measurement is also a very important part of gamifying things in order to get to the next level of awesome behavior towards your objective. Remember why? Because, these things elicit the different motivators that are constantly happening. And of course, let's look at some of the tools that we are using. Okay, we talked about Squadly, squadly.com with an I, not a Y. Okay, Squadly basically is a performance measurement and management tool, and it's free, okay? So you can download Squadly, and it allows you to literally see where you are compared to a team. It allows people to get literally instant feedback with different emocons, and it takes only 14 seconds to give some kind of feedback. So you're doing this on a regular basis. Instant feedback is quality feedback, and well, there's a lot more on Squadly. Check it out. Okay, the other thing, perception gap closure. Okay, measuring perception gaps is one of the key factors for improving leadership in managers. You know why? Because, sometimes when you think that you are doing something really good and you're doing it, and this is the right way to do things, and you see yourself as, I'm like this, and I'm really kind, I'm really trying to do good things, right? You want to be a good leader. Unfortunately, sometimes the way that you see yourself is not the way that other people see you. And other people may say, oh my gosh, my boss is such a control freak. But you think, oh no, I'm, giving him autonomy and everything else. But the way that you behave does not support that to other people. And if you don't know, you can't change. So sometimes, I mean, you're basically an asshole and you don't even realize it. And unless people actually tell you in some way, which they won't, okay, you can't change. But this tool helps you to identify the different gaps that you have so that you can say, oh my gosh, I didn't know that, so that you can close them and just be better. And of course, that form of measurement supports improvement, and it can also be gamified. Then, of course, setting benchmarks. Benchmarks is a key thing. So setting a benchmark of your organizational culture. At what level are you? At the bottom of the blame culture? Okay? Or, are you at the live and let live culture? Where are you? And how can you improve your organizational culture? And as you start to see things improving, then, you're making progress, and you can see that progress measured and delivered in front of everybody, so everybody can say, wow, look at what we have done. And of course, finally, communication. Okay? You want to reduce communication danger. So identifying the people that are in your danger zone with Colored Brain, okay, at coloredbrain.com, will be able to not only help you to see who are the people that you really can potentially be having difficulty with, but it also allows you to see all the people in your team who are also having difficulty with you that they may not have said something about. And it helps you to not only identify this, but it also gives you very specific tips on what to do in order to improve communication, productivity, relationships, etc. Okay, so if you are interested in gamification of your organizational culture and you want to go ahead and join us in developing gamification, you can go ahead and get certified. Just go to gamification.coach, or you can go ahead and contact us and we can do this for your organization. So with that, this is Arthur Carmazzi wishing you great success.